What's up, Ravens Nation? Welcome back to Vlog Talk. Today, we are talking about the Ravens putting their 24-game preseason win streak on the line and a few things that I'm looking out for and I'm sure a lot of other Ravens fans are also looking at. So, to just jump right into it, the first thing I'm looking at is the quarterback battle. Now, John Harbaugh has not come out and said who the number 2 guy is. I think after last week, it's safe to say that Tyler Huntley is going to be that number 2 guy. I know we've heard reports that Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown have been pushing him in camp, and that's great. Competition is awesome, makes players better. Iron sharpens iron. That's great. However, we saw against the Eagles who really took control of the offense in what looked like to be a difference maker. Now, Josh Johnson, didn't play bad. Anthony Brown, I don't think has elevated his game as much as we would have liked to have seen. But we'll get into that in a minute. But Tyler Huntley, when he stepped into the game in the third quarter, it looked like a completely different offense. It was so on point. I think he was 8 for 11 for 88 yards. The dude, he just took command of the offense. His timing, his passes were out on time. His accuracy was really good. His ball placement, all that was great. And unfortunately, he tweaked his hamstring, which is why we're not going to see him against the Commanders. John Harbaugh said he's not worried about it, and he should be more than ready to go by week 1, which obviously smart move, not worth a further injury. Hamstrings are one of those weird injuries that if you don't give them time and you don't heal them correctly, they can just nag on a player for an entire season. So obviously you're not going to put Tyler Huntley, who like I am projecting now to be the second quarterback behind Lamar Jackson, you're not going to put him in further harm's way with a hamstring injury. But he did say he would play if he were healthy. So he hasn't come out and said who the number 2 guy is, but I think Tyler Huntley is absolutely that guy. He should be that guy based off of what we saw. I know at the end of last season, I think Ravens fans were left with a very bad taste in their mouth. And Tyler Huntley, is going to take a lot of that blame. Unfortunately for him, whether you like it or not, that's just the way the game goes. When you win, you're the hero. When you lose, a lot of times you're not. So it's unfortunate, but looking past that, he does seem like the guy to be number 2 behind Lamar Jackson going forward. Now, between Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown, based off of the 1-game sample size that we saw, I think Josh Johnson's that guy. Anthony Brown, I like him. He looked like late last year. He was brought in, against the Bengals the week before the wild card, and he looked like he kind of provided a spark in the passing game, but he doesn't look like he's elevated that significantly from year 1 to year 2. I'm excited to see what they look like in this game. That was a 1-game sample size, and I can't sit here and judge a player off of a 1-game sample size in the preseason. That would not be fair. So that's why I'm excited to see this. But based off of what I did see, he seemed to make a lot worse decisions compared to Josh Johnson. His accuracy wasn't great. He seemed to put the ball in harm's way. Gave up threw a pick 6. He did some nice things with his legs. He did make a couple nice throws. But when you're talking about a guy that you want to bring into a game to manage the game, to protect the ball, this is when you're talking about Lamar Jackson being out. And probably Tyler Huntley. You're talking about being down to your 3rd guy here. You don't want a guy that's going to go in there and start throwing interceptions and putting the ball in harm's way. You want a guy that's going to go in there and manage the game well and just get the ball out accurately and make the right decisions to give your team the best chance to win the game. Based off of what we saw last week, that would be Josh Johnson. But look, again, that was 1 game, and I'm not saying that won't change. I'm excited to see what these guys can do these next 2 games to see who really emerges as what I would say is going to be that number 3 quarterback. So we'll have to see where that goes. Another thing I'm excited to watch in this game is David Ojabo. We saw against the Eagles early on, he was amped up, ready to go, and he made a crucial mistake when he spun inside and gave Marcus Mariota the outside edge to go convert a 3rd and 13. Obviously, that's a mistake. You can't do that. But look, this guy is like Mike McDonald said, in every sense of the word, he is a rookie still. He played barely at the end of last year. So this guy's going to be okay. I think he has a very high ceiling, but he's young. That's a young mistake, and I'm excited to see what he can do going forward, starting against the Commanders. What is he going to look like? Let's see him learn from those rookie mistakes and get better. That's going to be a process. He's not going to come out and be ready to dominate week one, but he could, further on as he progresses and develops. It's a long road for these guys, and I'm excited to see it. That's why I think bringing in Jadeveon Clowney was very beneficial. A veteran guy that can help lead this room that is still pretty young. So David Ojabo is definitely going to be a big thing I'm looking for on this defense, as well as newcomer Ronald Darby. John Harbaugh said that he will probably play some. I'm excited to see that. Not that I expect anything significant or huge, but just to see him running around and gelling with this defense, seeing him in the new system, and just watching him make plays. That's really it in the most simple answer is I just want to see him out there making plays, making open field tackles. What is this guy made of? And we'll find out soon enough. The third thing I'm going to be looking out for is the running backs. So we know Jake Hayes back, so he's number 1. We know Gus Edwards is going to be 2. Justice Hill signing a new contract in March. He will be 3. Who's going to be 4? I spoke in a previous video that I was very, very high on rookie Keaton Mitchell. In the return game, he looks fast, and in the run game, he looks electric. When he got just a little bit of space on a handoff, he took 35 yards to the house. Unfortunately, it was called back for the holding, but we saw lightning strike there, and that's a guy that I think the Ravens could really find a place for in this offense. And of course, Melvin Gordon's still there, a veteran who's still a good player and can still give you, good reps. Who's going to emerge in this game as that 4th guy? So those are just a few things that I'm going to be watching specifically in this game. I can't wait for kickoff, but let me know in the comments, what are you guys going to be watching? Is there anything specific, or are you just ready to watch some Ravens football? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. Help this video in the algorithm if you enjoyed it by giving it a like, and help me grow this channel by subscribing. Thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next one.